The rain hammered the pavement like a judgment. Sarah Mitchell stood at the glass doors of Aldrich Industries, her reflection staring back at her like a ghost. Her jacket was 2 sizes too big. Her shoes let in water through cracks she couldn't afford to fix. But today was different. Today she had hope. Hello, friends. Welcome to Black Bite Stories. Before we begin today's story, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? We love hearing from our global family. The newspaper ad was crumpled in her pocket. 5 words circled in red marker. Cleaner needed. Apply today. No experience required. Those 3 final words felt like a lifeline thrown to a drowning woman. Sarah had applied to 67 jobs in the past 4 months. She'd counted each rejection like scars. But this time, she told herself, this time would be different. She pushed through the revolving door into a world she'd almost forgotten existed. The lobby was all marble and mirrors, the kind of space where money whispered instead of shouted. A waterfall cascaded down one wall, the sound impossibly peaceful. Fresh flowers bloomed in crystal vases. Sarah could smell the expensive perfume of the woman who'd just walked past, trailing it like a warning. The receptionist looked up from her desk. Her eyes traveled from Sarah's wet hair down to her broken shoes, making calculations Sarah knew too well. For a moment, Sarah wanted to turn around and walk back into the rain. But she thought of her daughter Lily, who'd gone to school that morning wearing shoes that pinched her toes. She thought of the eviction notice taped to their shelter room door. She stayed. "I'm here about the cleaning position," Sarah said. Her voice came out smaller than she wanted, the one in the newspaper. The receptionist's expression softened slightly. She handed Sarah a clipboard with forms attached. "Fill these out. Someone will call you when it's your turn." Sarah took the clipboard to a leather chair that felt like sitting on a cloud. She'd forgotten what comfortable furniture felt like. The form asked for her address, and she hesitated before writing down the shelter's location. Previous work experience, her pen hovered over the blank space. What could she write? That she'd cleaned houses for cash. That she'd washed dishes in restaurant kitchens at midnight. That she'd done everything and anything to keep her daughter fed. She left it blank and moved to the next question. Around her, people in expensive suits moved through the lobby like they owned the air itself. Everyone belonged here except her. 20 minutes passed, then 30. Sarah's stomach growled. She'd given Lily her breakfast that morning, a single bowl of oatmeal, claiming she'd already eaten Sarah Mitchell. The receptionist called her name. Sarah stood too quickly, nearly dropping the clipboard. "Yes, that's me. 15th floor, turn right when you exit the elevator." Last door at the end of the hall, the receptionist's voice was kind, now almost gentle. "Good luck." Sarah nodded and walked toward the elevator. Each step felt like walking toward her own trial. If she failed this interview, she didn't know what she would do. Lily needed new shoes. They needed food that wasn't donated or expired. They needed hope. The elevator doors opened. Sarah stepped inside, her reflection multiplying in the mirrored walls. She barely recognized the woman staring back at her. Where had the confident graduate student gone? Where was the woman who used to dream about changing the world? Sarah looked away. The numbers climbed. 10, 11, 12. Her heart matched the rhythm. 13, 14, 15. The elevator chimed and the doors slid open onto a hallway that smelled like leather and ambition. Thick carpet muffled her footsteps. Oil paintings hung on the walls like silent witnesses. At the end of the hall stood a mahogany door with gold letters Sarah was too nervous to read. She raised her hand to knock, but the door opened before she could. A young man with glasses smiled at her professionally. "Ms. Mitchell, please come in. Mr. Cole is expecting you." Sarah stepped into an office so large it could have held 3 shelter rooms. Floor-to-ceiling windows showed the entire city spread out below like a kingdom. A massive desk dominated the center of the room, and behind it sat a man looking down at paperwork. Sarah could only see the top of his head, dark hair with threads of silver. "Please, have a seat," the assistant said, gesturing to a chair facing the desk. Sarah moved toward the chair like a woman approaching the edge of a cliff. The man behind the desk finished writing something and looked up. Time stopped. The world stopped. Everything stopped. It was Marcus, her Marcus, the man she'd married 8 years ago in a ceremony held in her mother's backyard. The man she'd loved with every particle of her being. The man she'd left without explanation 6 years ago, disappearing into the city like smoke. Marcus's face drained of all color. The pen fell from his hand and hit the desk with a sound like a gunshot. His mouth opened, but no words came out. He stared at Sarah like she'd risen from the grave. "Sarah," he finally whispered. His voice cracked on her name like breaking glass. Her legs nearly gave way. She grabbed the back of the chair to keep from falling. "Marcus," she breathed. This couldn't be real. This couldn't be happening. But it was. After 6 years of hiding, 6 years of running, 6 years of surviving in the shadows, fate had thrown them together in the cruelest way possible. Marcus stood slowly, his hands gripping the desk like he needed it to remain upright. "You're alive!" The words came out strange and tight, like he was holding back an earthquake. "You're here, in my office." Sarah couldn't find her voice. Her throat had closed around all the words she'd never said. She could only nod, a small, jerky movement that felt like surrender. "Sit down," Marcus said. It wasn't a request. It was something between a command and a plea. But Sarah's body had forgotten how to move. She stood frozen, staring at the man she'd once promised forever. Marcus walked around his desk toward her. He moved carefully, like approaching a wild animal that might bolt. When he got close, Sarah instinctively stepped back. Pain flashed across his face, raw and immediate. "You're afraid of me now." His voice was barely a whisper. "No," Sarah managed. "I'm not afraid of you. I'm afraid of everything else. Sit down, Sarah, please." This time his voice was softer, stripped of authority. Just a man asking a woman he'd once known everything about. Sarah finally moved to the chair and sat. Her whole body trembled. Marcus returned behind his desk, but didn't sit. He stood there, arms crossed, staring at her like he was trying to solve an impossible equation. 6 years, he said. 6 years, Sarah. Do you know what these 6 years have been like for me? She looked down at her hands, clasped so tightly in her lap her knuckles had gone white. Marcus's eye. "I searched for you," he interrupted. His voice grew louder now, years of anguish pouring out. "I called every hospital, every police station. I hired private detectives. I thought you were dead. I thought someone had hurt you. I thought." His voice broke. He stopped, took a breath, tried again. "I thought I'd lost you forever." "I'm sorry," Sarah whispered. The words were ash in her mouth, inadequate and small. "Sorry." Marcus laughed, but there was no humor in it. "That's all you have to say. Sorry. What else can I say?" Sarah looked up at him, tears blurring her vision. What words could possibly be enough? How about the truth? Marcus's eyes were hard now, polished with pain. How about you tell me why you left? Why you disappeared without a word? Why you let me think I'd lost you forever?" Sarah opened her mouth, but nothing came out. How could she explain? Where would she even begin? The silence stretched between them like a canyon. "Did you stop loving me?" Marcus asked quietly. "Is that it? Did you find someone else?" "No," Sarah said quickly, urgently. "It was never that. I never stopped." She caught herself before saying too much. "Never stopped. What?" Marcus leaned forward. "Say it, Sarah." She looked away, unable to meet his eyes. "It doesn't matter now. It matters to me." Marcus slammed his hand on the desk, making Sarah jump. "For 6 years I've been living with a hole in my chest. For 6 years I've been trying to understand what I did wrong, what I said wrong, how I failed you. And now you're sitting here in my office, and you won't even tell me the truth." "The truth is complicated," Sarah said softly. "Then uncomplicate it." Marcus's voice filled the enormous office. "I deserve that much, don't I? After everything we had together, after the promises we made," tears rolled down Sarah's cheeks. "You don't understand. I didn't want to leave you. I had no choice. Everyone has a choice, Sarah." "Not when someone threatens to take away what you love most," Sarah said quietly. Marcus went still. "Who threatened you?" She shook her head. "I can't talk about this. I just came for a job. A job as a cleaner." He stared at her clothes, her exhaustion, Sarah. "What happened to you? Surviving," she said simply. Marcus's anger softened. He sat, studying her. "You look exhausted. When did you last eat a real meal?" "I eat. That's not what I asked." He reached for his phone. "I'm ordering food." "No, I should go." This was a mistake. "Sit down," he said sharply. "You're not leaving until you tell me what's going on. You can't force me, can't I? You came here asking for a job. As CEO, I have questions for the applicant." She sat again, defeated. Lily needed shoes, medicine, everything she couldn't afford. "Rebecca," Marcus said into his phone, "lunch for 2. Hold my calls." "Yes, Mr. Cole." He met Sarah's eyes. Worry replacing anger. "Start from the beginning. Where have you been for 6 years? Different places? Nowhere that felt like home. Why did you leave?" "I had no choice." "Who threatened you?" She hesitated. "I need this job, Marcus. Please." "Money?" Marcus looked confused. "Sarah, if you needed money, why didn't you just ask me? Even if you wanted to leave me, I would have helped you. You know that. It's not that simple. Then explain it to me." Marcus's frustration was building again. "Make me understand." Before Sarah could answer, there was a knock on the door. "Come in," Marcus called out. The assistant entered carrying bags of food. The smell of pasta and fresh bread filled the office. Sarah's stomach growled so loudly it echoed in the quiet room. She couldn't remember the last time she'd smelled food that good. "Thank you, Marcus," Marcus said. "Just put it on the table by the window." The assistant set everything down and left quietly. Marcus stood. "Come on, let's eat while we talk." Sarah hesitated, then stood and walked to the small table. Marcus unpacked the food. 2 plates of pasta with rich sauce. Fresh bread, salad, even dessert. It was more food than Sarah had seen in weeks. "Eat," Marcus said, sitting down across from her. Sarah picked up a fork with trembling hands. She took a small bite of pasta. It was delicious, so delicious that tears came to her eyes again. "When was the last time you ate?" Marcus asked again, watching her carefully. "Yesterday," Sarah lied. It had actually been 3 days. She'd given all their food to Lily. Marcus didn't believe her. She could see it in his eyes, but he didn't push. He just watched her eat. After a few minutes of silence, Marcus spoke again. "You said you need money." "For what?" Sarah put down her fork. This was the moment. There was no way around it anymore. "For medicine," she said quietly. "For my daughter." The fork in Marcus's hand clattered to the plate. "Your daughter." His voice was barely a whisper. "You have a daughter." Yes, Marcus's face had gone pale again. "How? How old is she?" Sarah's heart pounded so hard she thought it might break through her ribs. "She's 5 years old." She watched Marcus's face as he did the math. She'd left 6 years ago. A baby takes 9 months. 5 years old. His hand started to shake. "Is she mine?" he asked. His voice was so quiet she almost couldn't hear him. Sarah looked him straight in the eyes. "Yes, Marcus, she's yours. Her name is Lily, and she's your daughter." For a long moment, Marcus just stared at her. His mouth opened, then closed. He looked like someone had punched all the air from his lungs. "I have a daughter," he finally said. He wasn't asking. He was saying it to himself, trying to make his brain understand the words. "I have a 5-year-old daughter." "Yes," Sarah whispered. Marcus stood so fast his chair fell backward with a crash. He walked to the window, his back to Sarah. His shoulders were shaking. "Why?" His voice cracked. "Why didn't you tell me? Why did you keep her from me?" "I wanted to protect her," Sarah said. Marcus spun around. His eyes were red. "Protect her from what?" "From me. From her own father." "No, not from you. Never from you." "Then from what?" Marcus's voice was rising again. "You keep saying these things that don't make sense. You had no choice. You had to protect her. From what, Sarah? From what Sarah stood to. From the people who wanted to destroy us. From the people who said I wasn't good enough for you. From the people who said they would take my baby away if I didn't leave." The words slipped out before Sarah could stop them. Marcus froze, "Who threatened to take our baby." "I can't," she whispered, tears streaming. "Sarah, please. I already lost you once. Nothing could hurt more than that." She looked into his eyes, the same eyes she'd fallen for, but she still couldn't tell him the truth. "Where is Lily?" Marcus asked. "At the shelter," Sarah said. "Mrs. Chen is watching her." "A shelter," his voice broke. "It's all I could afford." "I kept her safe. I'm not blaming you," he said. "I just want to see her." Now, right now, they left immediately. "During the drive," Marcus asked, "what's she like?" "She's wonderful. Smart, loves to draw. She has your eyes. Does she know about me?" "She knows her father loves her." They arrived at the worn-down shelter. Inside, Mrs. Chen said Lily's fever had worsened. In the playroom, Lily sat wrapped in a thin blanket, coughing. Sarah rushed to her. Marcus stood stunned. The little girl looked just like Sarah, but with his eyes. "Mama, who is that man?" Lily asked. Sarah swallowed hard. "Sweetheart, this is your daddy." Marcus knelt beside her, tears falling. "I'm so happy to meet you, Lily, and I'm not going away again. She needs a doctor," he said. "Now I know," Sarah said. She could hear the panic in her own voice. Marcus gently reached out and touched Lily's forehead. "It was burning hot, hey, sweetheart," he said softly. "How would you like to go for a ride in my car? We're going to take you to see a doctor who will make you feel all better." "Will it hurt?" Lily asked, her eyes filling with tears. "No, no," Marcus said quickly. "The doctor is very nice. She'll just check on you and give you medicine to make the cough go away." Lily looked at Sarah. "Is it okay, Mama?" "Yes, baby," Sarah said, stroking her hair. "Your daddy is going to help us." Marcus carefully picked Lily up, blanket and all. The little girl was so light to light. He held her close to his chest, and Lily rested her hot head on his shoulder. They walked back to the car. Marcus sat in the back seat with Lily, still holding her. Sarah got in the front and started driving toward the hospital. Marcus looked at his daughter in his arms. 5 years old. 5 years he'd missed. Her first words, her first steps, her first everything. But he was here now, and he would never let her go. "We're going to be okay," he whispered into Lily's hair. "I promise you, everything is going to be okay." And for the first time in 6 years, Sarah almost believed it might be true.